I think. Yeah, it looks like we're
Are
live.
we?
Okay, yeah, we're live. Um, we're here. I'd like to welcome those here in YouTubeville, and my buddy Rich, and those listening in podcast land.
Yeah, welcome everybody. This is our first YouTube live video.
Yeah.
Trying something new is we usually do Facebook Live, but thought we'd give YouTube a try to see if we can get any um, live live comments or reactions while we're recording,
Yep.
since we didn't get those over on Facebook too often. And also welcome to anybody that's listening to us at a later date um, on YouTube, but viewing it through Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're excited to try this out. Hopefully, this goes well. Um, yeah, I think I'm actually gonna put this. Okay, I can do this too. So, Rich, how you doing this week? Anything exciting? Any big anything big at work or anything?
No, not really. Just it's a busy week. We're getting into harvest season, so that means a lot of things are coming through our area, and so yeah, it was a big push to get through the weekend to get some time off. So I'm looking forward to maybe getting a little extra sleep tomorrow.
Ooh, you don't have to work tomorrow. That's nice.
No, no,
So
no.
you'll
We
be
don't
up
do
at
Saturdays.
like 7:30.
Yeah, yeah. But that's sleeping in when you get up at 4:30 though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hey.
Good, Mike, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's a week. Work happened. The yeah. So it's
All right.
it's been a week.
All right, good deal. Well, Mike, well, it's we normally don't. We do normally do shows on Saturday night, but
Friday night.
it's kind of late for both of us. Friday nights, but it's been a long week, so let's go ahead and get this show started, Mike. So if you're joining us and watching us for the first time on YouTube, normally what we do is we're just two guys that just talk sports, and mainly we cover NASCAR, the NFL, and the MLB, and we do a weekly poll question, Mike.
Yeah, but first we got to tell people what we're talking about this week. So first, we are going to be talking about, well, like you said, we got the NASCAR corner. We're also going to talk the Cubs week in review, how the Cubs did this week, as well as we're going to hit our power rankings this week. Rich, what are your two topics you want to talk about this week?
You know, Mike, we got to give the folks a recap of the picks that we made in week 2 as far as a lock, our upsets, and our prediction for the Bears in Thursday night football. And like you said, the power rankings, and maybe even a spoiler alert for the Masked Singers. We normally
Yes.
talk about the Masked Singer
Yes.
as well
We do.
when it's Masked Singer season.
It is Matt
Mike,
Singer
all,
season.
yeah, all that and more, Mike. But what do we got to do first?
We got to roll the intro! Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich. And we're back. Okay, Rich, like you said, every week we talk about our poll question. This week's poll question, we are doing jock jams / stadium songs. So, Cotton Eye Joe, thank God I'm a country boy. Rich, how did you vote on this one?
Mike, I voted for Cotton Eye Joe.
Okay. Okay. I don't mind that vote. Not a bad vote. I think I voted for Cotton Eye Joe too.
Yeah, when I was looking for a YouTube video, or I was expecting to see like more like college teams doing like the "Thank God I'm a Country Boy."
Ooh.
But the one thing that came up though was I guess it's a seventh inning stretch song in Baltimore of all places.
Baltimore's a
I,
country town?
I guess so. It even got to the point reading on Wikipedia that I guess they've had John Denver come in and lead it live during a playoff series once, and also during their World Series, one of the World Series games that they won in the '80s.
Wow. Okay,
So,
well,
so Mike, how do the people vote?
well, Rich, we had two Mikeys vote for Cotton Eye Joe. Mikey
Okay.
O'Roderer and Mikey Hart, along with Rich. But we had one Mrs. AJ Hendricks,
Hmm.
Mrs. Susan Hart, Mr. Bernie Calkins, and a Mr. Adam Heath all vote for Thank God I'm a Country Boy. 4 votes,
All right. Cool, cool. So,
including your wife.
yeah. All right. Thanks God I'm a country boy is going to move on.
We are men.
All right.
We are men of the people. We will.
That's right.
We will let your wrong votes win.
Well, no, not wrong votes. Just we vote in the poll. It's just like anybody else.
Yeah. Yep.
If we got maybe not overruled. It's just there have to be more votes for the song we didn't vote.
I do love John Denver. I really do love John Denver. So don't get me wrong. I'm not upset about that side of it. But I mean, I'd prefer Cotton Eye Joe. Because
Okay.
where did he come from, Rich? And where did he go? I don't know yet.
Nope, not yet. All right, so Mike, this week we're going to be going with Hip Hop Hooray and Whoop. There it is.
Whoop! There it is. Okay.
All right, Mike. So,
Do you see what's coming up next, Rich?
well, first let's let the folks know where they can find this poll.
Good point.
You can find it over on our Facebook page, either on Fans of Balls and Sticks or on Balls and Sticks. We do have to have two separate pages. It is confusing, but it only lets us do a poll on a fans page,
Yeah,
not on a normal page.
You know, Facebook.
But
being,
you can find it on both of them.
Facebook doing Facebook things.
Now, Mike, do you see what's coming up?
Is it a left turn, Rich?
It is a left turn, Mike.
Rich, what's after that?
It's another left turn, Mike.
It is, because we're heading into the NASCAR corner, presented as always by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports memorabilia needs, either in person at Fifth Avenue or online on their eBay store. Once again, that is Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. By the way, just so those listening, those watching on Facebook know, they don't pay us anything to say that. We just think that NASCAR always has sponsors thanked, and so we figured it makes sense. They're friends of the show. We'll give them a shout out. So, Rich, last week we had the Bass Pro Shop night race at Bristol. Give the folks a recap.
Well, Mike, the race winner was Chris Buescher, and our picks were Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch on the playoff sides. I won that one as Kyle Larson came in fifth. Mike, your pick of Kyle Busch, as he usually does when he gets picked on this show, finishes in the bottom five as he finished 33rd because he had an engine issue, which a lot of the Toyotas had that night.
Yeah.
And on the non-playoff side, my pick of Brad Keselowski came in 13th. Mike, your pick of Eric Almirola, who was the pole sitter, came in 28th.
Yeah, Rich, I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is how you come back. The playoffs every year, I do really well, and then we hit the playoffs and you just go on a tear that is unmatched. I mean, you had two perfect weeks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I
Well,
had
I
guys
didn't get the
finish.
race winner this week. At least I didn't get the race winner this week.
I had guys finish in the top 5, and still both of your racers beat mine.
Give it time, Mike. The luck will wear off sooner or later. But and normally, to your point, normally you're the one that's always coming back in the playoffs. So I think it's just flip-flopping this year. So for the our standings throughout the entire NASCAR schedule, it's 21-15.
Yep.
But just looking at the playoffs, I'm up 7-1, Mike.
Yeah, that's hurting me pretty bad, Rich. Hurting me bad.
So, Mike, what did you think of what the
I
Toyota camp decided to do with that race?
I didn't
As you
see
had,
any of the race.
well, what had happened was that you had the Toyota cars of Bubba Wallace and Ty Gibbs, Kyle Busch, and Martin Truex Jr. all exit with engine problems related to rack and pinions needing to be replaced or engine problems. So Kyle Busch exits the race, and because of stage points, he was still slated to make the playoffs. However, Bubba Wallace and Ty Gibbs get their cars repaired, go back on the track, and start gaining those laps back, in theory, passing Kyle Busch, who's out of the race, which could have knocked him out of the playoffs if they had continued gaining ground and through attrition on getting laps back.
Well,
It didn't end up matter. It didn't end up mattering because Ty Gibbs exited the race and Bubba didn't get enough laps in to get his car back. But it seemed a little odd that you'd have Toyota throwing cars back out on the.
You got to run your race. You got to run your race, and Bubba needs some time. They both need time in the wheels. They're not on the same team as Kyle. And Kyle's a lame duck. What do they care? Toyota's not giving him anything. Toyota, I wouldn't be surprised if Toyota pulled the engine out of his car from last week, sprayed it down with some Armor All, made it look pretty, and handed it back to him and said, okay, go race in it again. They don't care.
Well,
what are they? What's he doing for them?
Not much else now. And now Toyota's also doing something with them. They have decided to swap the entire pit crews.
Okay.
And take away Kyle Busch's pit crew, give that group to Denny Hamlin, who's still in the playoffs.
FYI, it's not
Denny
Toyota, it's Joe Gibbs.
Joe Gibbs, okay.
It's Joe Gibbs Racing is making these decisions. These are business decisions by Joe Gibbs. By the way, I'm guessing that group was going to be Denny Hamlin's pit crew next year.
And he could be, because I think when they were talking about it, from what I read, Kyle Busch's pit crew was ranked number 1.
Yep.
Denny Hamlin's was number 4.
And I would not
for pit crew rankings.
I would not be surprised if Denny Hamlin's crew becomes part of, or if Kyle Busch's crew is Denny Hamlin's pit crew next year. Like, that just to me makes more sense. And so that's what they will do this next year. It's just what they're going to do.
Okay. Just some observations I noticed. I found it kind of odd. I would have thought that with Bubba Wallace and Ty Gibbs, even though they're not Joe Gibbs racing machines, they're still within the Toyota family, that if there was a chance for Kyle Busch, a Toyota driver, to still remain in the playoffs, that they wouldn't want to jeopardize him missing the playoffs because they threw 2 Toyotas that were not in playoff contention out there that could potentially knock him out of the playoffs.
Who does Bubba Wallace race for?
Hamlin Jordan.
Who is Ty Gibbs racing for?
Hamlin Jordan, but he is the grandson of Joe Gibbs.
It doesn't matter.
No.
You're racing for the team. You're racing for a team. That team, there is no obligation for Denny Hamlin's team to give up even a spot for Denny Hamlin. If Bubba Wallace and Denny Hamlin are racing side by side and Denny and Bubba Wallace gives Hamlin one spot, you know what Hamlin's going to do? He's going to fire him. Because he knows that he doesn't want his racer to even give him an inch, because he needs his guys to be racing everybody all the time as hard as they can. That's their job. Their job is not to give Denny Hamlin an easy win or to block for Denny Hamlin if it comes down to him winning a race and them blocking for him. That's not their job. Their job is to win the race. And Denny knows that, and Denny wouldn't want it any other way. I don't care who. If it was Joe Gibbs guys doing it, maybe I'd think about it. Just because they share a manufacturer, would you expect anybody from RCR to give an inch to anybody from Hendricks Motorsports?
No.
But they both wear the bow tie.
Yeah, but I guess for me, where I found it kind of odd is because you have, while they're different manufacturers, from my perspective,
they're different teams.
Teams.
They're same manufacturer.
Teams, same manufacturers. For me, I
just lost audio from you altogether, Rich. I lost all audio from you. So while Rich is figuring that out, I understand what Rich is saying. Yes, because the two teams work so closely together. One of the drivers is one of the owners is a driver for the other team. You kind of expect that they would work hand in hand. The problem is that's not how it works. By the way, in NASCAR, it is illegal for teammates to work that way, let alone, like, if two teammates are out there, it's technically illegal for a teammate to block for one of the other racers just because he wants their guys to win and do better. That's technically illegal. Whether you like it or not, that's how NASCAR works. Denny Hamlin knows it. Joe Gibbs knows it. I understand what Rich is saying. Rich is saying that when two teams work so closely together, and yet they and even one of the owners races for the other team, that you would expect that team to race for him or race together a little bit better. That's not how it works. But with that being said, we do have the Auto Trader Echo Park 500 at Texas this week, Rich.
Yes, we do. So yes, and that's exactly how I was seeing it, was with Denny Hamlin, while being an owner for one team but racing for another one.
Yep, totally get it. But
that's where I'm coming from.
I understand.
Where I was kind of surprised.
So this week at Texas, Rich, you still have the honors. Who you picking?
Well, Mike, for a playoff driver, I'm going to go with Christopher Bell. He ran pretty well there. He's run pretty well there in the past, and he's been probably the most consistent driver in the playoffs. So I think he can have a good finish. For a non-playoff driver, I'm going to go with Kevin Harvick, also based on track history.
Okay. So this week, I am going to go with Denny Hamlin and Bubba Wallace. Bubba wants a win, and he's been good at Texas in the past. And Toyotas are normally pretty fast. I'm guessing that's why you picked Christopher Bell, because Toyotas tend to be fast down there. So I like Denny Hamlin and Bubba Wallace. That's what I'm going for.
Okay, and just in case you didn't, the other drivers besides Kyle Busch that will not be moving on in the playoffs include Tyler Reddick, Austin Dillon, and Kevin Harvick.
Okay, which is why you were able to pick him this week.
That is correct. So going into with the standings being reset, the current playoff standings, going 1 to 12, are Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Blaney, Bisco, Bowman, Suarez, and Cindric. So we'll provide another update with the playoff standings when we get to the elimination race at Talladega.
Yeah, I want to go fast. Okay, Rich, this has been the NASCAR Corner, presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports memorabilia needs in person at 5th Avenue or online on their eBay store. Once again, that is Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. Let's keep making left turns as we round the diamond to talk the Cubs and the MLB. So this week the Cubs went 4-3, show how amazing. They did better than we thought. Not really, though.
No, about what we thought they would get. As Mike, you said they would get 4 wins. I said only 3. However, Mike, they were eliminated from the playoffs on Sunday.
We said they were going to be.
Yeah, we figured they would be. So they're still in 3rd place, which isn't saying much when their record is 66-85 in the division.
Hey, they will not get more than 100 losses.
That's at least a bright side to the season.
We will stay out of the 100-loss mark, which some of the teams in our division will not.
Yeah. All right, Mike. From show to show, this will be the final full week from show to show.
Yeah.
We're going to stay in Pittsburgh this weekend for 2 against the Pirates. We're going to come home for 3 games with the Phillies and a Friday afternoon date with the Reds from show to show. Mike, how many wins do you think they can get?
The Phillies are needing these wins, so I don't think they're going to get one with them. The Pirates will play us tough because they think they can get to that 3rd place spot. So I think we'll get at least one from them, and we should get that last one from the Reds. We'll get 2 wins.
Yeah, I think 2's about right too. And speaking of the Reds, have you seen what Joey Votto has been up to over the last couple of home games?
I cannot say enough how much I love this. I think, again, I don't think it should be a mandatory rule, but I think if you are a MLB player on the IL, I got to remember what it's called nowadays. IL, see, I did it right. You really got to look at Joey Votto and think, man, this guy's putting me to shame. Sitting at home, sitting in the dugout, soaking up the ice baths and the massages. Rich, tell the people what this man did.
Mike, he's going out and sitting amongst the people, and not sitting in the cushy front row seats that have security to probably check people's tickets and shoo people away if they don't have tickets to that section. He's walking around the concourses, taking pictures, signing autographs.
Yeah, I love it. I think
being a man of the people.
I think this is the best move he could. Like, if you are a major league player on the injured list, this is what you need to be doing. Like,
especially for a team like the Reds that maybe have plenty of available tickets or available tickets away. I mean,
as long as you don't have a lower half injury, if you can walk without the aid of any, like if you got a ACL that's been repaired and you're not fully walking, don't do it. You got a broken thumb, go do it. You got a rotator cuff that's just had surgery, go do it. You had Tommy John surgery, go do it. Go see these people. They actually paid to come see you, and you're not there for them. You're not there to put on the show for them. So put on a show for them.
All right. So the other big news coming out of baseball is Aaron Judge is chasing down the American League home run record and what a lot of people still think is the real home run record of 61 hit by Roger Maris.
I think he'll get it. He's definitely going to hit at least 63, 64. He'll make the American League record. Now, there are enough games, I think, that if he hits a home run a game, he'd be pretty close to that 73 mark. Pretty close.
So, Mike, are you of the camp that says that the Major League home run record is Roger Maris's 61? Is it Babe Ruth's 60 home runs in a 154 game season? Or do you think that the home run record is Barry Bonds' single season home run record of 73, even though there were allegations of performance enhancing drugs?
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say about this.
Okay.
I got a couple of things. One, if we look at percentages, you kind of got to give the Babe Ruth record some clout. He did it in 11 less games, right?
Mm-hmm.
He did it 11 less games. Again, if he hits one home run each time, he still is less than 73. But he at least beats Maris's record. Major League Baseball, in there, as a baseball fan, Major League Baseball holds records. You can go on their website and look up who has the most hits against any individual. Like, you can look up all of the stats. All the stats are out there, folks. It doesn't matter. You can go look it up. And there are three guys at the top of that list. Whether or not we want to admit that they are on the top of the list, what does the Major League Record book say, Rich?
Barry Bonds.
I don't like it. I'm praying that Aaron Judge can hit 15 home runs in the final week and a half of baseball. That would make me happy. If he can hit 15 home runs in the next 10 days, we don't even have to talk about this anymore.
And I'm sure baseball wants to see that too, because, I mean, and it'd be good media coverage.
It already is getting... It's actually getting terrible coverage. By the way, when nobody's talking about... Rich, what's his on-base percentage?
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Where's he at for batting average in the league?
When I was watching a little bit of their game on the Fox Thursday night game, he was number 2 in the he was number 2 for batting average.
Where's he at for RBIs?
For the triple I. First or second. He's going for the Triple Crown.
That man is going to hit a Triple Crown. He's going to at least beat Maris's record. He will have the American League home run record. I think people are saying this could be, and I don't know that they're wrong, the greatest season we've seen by a hitter ever.
All right.
We've had.
So he did. Go ahead, Mike. So he did not hit a home run tonight.
Too bad. So that makes that 73 really hard to get. At this point, he's going to have a couple of 2 or 3 home run games. That's not going to happen. He'll probably get walked more than that. But by the way, if you take Barry Bonds' home runs compared to how many actual at bats he had, it's crazy, because he was intentionally walked, I think, 142 times that season, something like that. It's in the triple digits. Barry Bonds was walked with the bases loaded. Got an RBI on a guy holding up 4 fingers. Actually, back then they had to put their arm out. He got an RBI from a guy doing this 4 times. Here's the problem I have with Barry Bonds. And when you talk to pitchers of the day, and I'm not talking just because they were on steroids too. The problem with Barry Bonds wasn't that he was on steroids. By the way, he was. Look how big his head goes from from his first year as at the Giants to how big it was at the end of his career there. 100%.
And what he looks like now.
Yeah, 100%. The man was doping, using drugs. It was terrible. I hate it. But this is what pitchers will tell you. It didn't matter where we put it. He had taken away so much of the strike zone and figured out so well how to keep an eye out for those balls. The reason they intentionally walked him is because they knew. Because it doesn't, Rich, I can inject you with all the steroids in the world. But you know what you can't do?
I can't hit a major league fastball.
You can't hit a major league. I would challenge you to hit a minor league fastball.
No, exactly. I probably couldn't hit any sort of baseball for that matter.
I will challenge you to go out to John O'Donnell Stadium and take batting practice against their starting pitcher that night. How much of a fool are you gonna look like?
Pretty bad. I looked bad in grade school, in like 6th grade, the last time I played organized baseball.
This is the problem. And yes, the steroids helped, but Barry Bonds that year was seeing the ball better than anybody has seen the ball in years. And by the way, you know what Aaron Judge is doing when he's not on the field? They built, not kidding, this is 100%, well, this is a report that I've read, said they have built a special batting cage for Aaron Judge that throws 102 miles an hour slider. A slider at 102 miles an hour. Just so he can see that. How, if you can see 102 miles an hour slider and you're taking that in the batting cages, what's a 98 miles an hour fast slider look like?
I don't even want to know, Mike.
It looks like it's sitting still. He has all the time in the world to see what the ball's doing. He's learned to look at it that good. This kid is, and here's the thing. I think, and I'm going to compare him to someone who nobody talks about the Hall of Fame anymore. We talk about should Barry get in, should Mark McGwire get in, but there's a guy that nobody talks about. Cubs fans apparently hate this guy. I don't get it. Personally, I don't get it. Sammy Sosa hit 60-plus home runs 3 times or 4 times?
I believe it was at least 3 times.
I know it was at least 3 times. And you know what? I think Aaron Judge is going to do the same thing. And he's doing it clean. He's getting he's getting urine tested. He's doing it cleanly. Aaron Judge all the way, man. I think it's sad that I feel bad because you have him and you have Angels.
Mike Trout.
No.
Shohei
Ohtani. Thank you. Shohei Ohtani. You have Shohei Ohtani and Mike Judge, both in the American League. Only one of them is going to be able to get the MVP. One of them is going to get the Cy Young. One of them is going to get the Triple Crown. You don't think so?
Regardless of whether Judge breaks the record or if he somehow cannot get to 61 home runs, which I don't think so, which I don't think you can at least get 1 home run and tie the record and at least 2 to break it.
Yep.
That it's going to be his MVP. Getting your team to the playoffs matters, and I don't think Shohei gets the Cy Young this year either.
Okay.
He's missed more time as a pitcher.
I think you're right. I think you're probably right.
He's missed more time as a pitcher this year than as a hitter.
You're right. He probably doesn't. But what we're seeing with those two guys right now in baseball, if you don't realize how much history you are getting to watch, you're crazy.
Yep. And another history that you get to watch is Albert Pujols trying to chase down 7,000 hits before the regular season is up. Because he's already said that he's not going to come back. Even if he's sitting on 6,999, he's not going to come back next year just so he can get that. He's 2 hits. He needs 2 more hits.
He needs 2 more home runs.
Oh, 2 more home runs.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not hits. It's home runs. You are correct, Mike. My apologies. Got that messed up. Yep, 700 home runs for Albert Pujols.
Do they have? No. Okay, I think they're done. So they're done for the season. But let's say you're the Cubs, and he's 1 home run away. Do you throw him just softball, fastball, like not softball under, but do you throw him soft fastballs at the end of the season?
No.
If he's 1 home run away.
No. I mean, and this isn't coming from a Cub fan who hates Albert Pujols.
I hate Albert.
This is you have to play the game. You got to play the game, and you can't just turn around and groove a fastball into him.
In fact, by the way, they are in Pittsburgh the last 3 games of the year.
Now, by all means, if the Cardinals have clinched the playoff spot, or even if they haven't clinched the playoff spot, Albert Pujols can still put up decent numbers as a DH. I think until he breaks that record, you got to roll him out there and get him as many at-bats as you can.
I agree, but so Pittsburgh, he has Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. And then they have 2 more with the Dodgers, Pittsburgh and Milwaukee left. And you don't think any of those teams give him last game? He's the last. Bottom of the 9th or top of the 9th. You're up 5 runs as the Pirates. Nobody on base. Albert Pujols comes up.
I would like to think that they would not do that. I'd like to think that.
If he only has 1, I let him do it. Like I have to let him do it. Just as a, hey man, we love you. Thank you.
But do you necessarily want to be the pitcher that goes down in the record books as I was the guy? The answer to the trivia question, who was the guy that gave up this Albert Pujols 700th career home run?
If you're on the Pirates, that's probably the only thing you're going to be in the record books for. So, yeah, I don't care what it's for. It's going to be the only trivia question I'm ever going to be the answer for. Might as well do it.
All right, Mike.
And I hate Albert Pujols. We have, for years, I've never bought it, and I was saying it before it was a T-shirt, but I always am the guy that says Cardinal fans love it in the Pujols. I hate the guy. That doesn't change the fact that I'm going to support. Like, I think I would love to see him hit that record book standing. So, okay.
Yeah, so do I. So, Mike, next week we'll take a look and see how our predictions for our standings predictions came out, and maybe take a look at who is in the playoffs going into the final weekend of the regular season. So that's next week during our Major League Baseball coverage.
Yep.
So, Mike, let's move over to the gridiron to give the folks our results of our Week 2 picks.
Okay, Rich, last week you picked as your lock of the week the Rams over the Falcons. Unfortunate. Oh, no. Yeah, that was your lock of the week. You're right.
My lock of the week. Yep. I got it. 31-27 Rams.
Yep.
So, which moves me to 1-0-1.
Yeah.
Mike, your lock of the week, you said the Bengals were going to get back on track and beat the Dallas Cowboys, who were without Dak Prescott. That didn't happen as the Cowboys won 20-17. You're now 0-2 on your locks.
Can we talk about that real quick? Just
Sure.
the controversy that comes around with the Cowboys. Jerry Jones was specifically asked, would you want to have a quarterback controversy when Dak is ready to come back? And he said, by all means, yes.
Because that keeps the Cowboys in the news cycle. If in the odd event, the Cooper Rush is undefeated, and the offense is functioning better.
That's not why he wants it. I mean, he wants it not because it keeps him in the news cycle, but because it means they're doing so dang good that it's causing a controversy. He doesn't care if they actually do good, or if they are in the news cycle. That's not his. I mean, he does. He's Jerry Jones. He wants to talk to the press as much as he can. But that's not why it is. It's because he wants his team to be doing that good. By the way, every owner in the league should say yes to that answer, to that question. Every owner in the league. And if you say no, sorry, you're wrong. So, back on set, we had the upset of the week. I said the Arizona Cardinals over the Raiders. The Cardinals pulled it out in overtime, 29-23.
Yep, Mike, your record is now 1-1. My upset did not come through as the Saints lost to the Buccaneers 20-10. Turnovers. Bad Jameis Winston showed up, and the Bucs defense carried Tom Brady to that victory.
Yeah.
But a win's a win either way. So I'm also 1-1. And the Bears-Packers game on Sunday night, we both said the Bears would lose. They did, as it was 27-10 Packers. We're both 1-1, as are the Bears.
So, Rich, speaking of the Bears, this week they have Houston. Do you think this is a win or a loss? It is in Chicago.
Well, first, Thursday night football.
Oh, yeah.
You said the Steelers would win. I took the Browns. Mike, it was 29-17 Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
So we're both 2-1 on Monday Night Football. Were you surprised at all with the Bears Packers?
No.
There was a little bit of hope coming out of the first quarter when we held them to a field goal, and Fields marched down the field for a touchdown. But after that, it was all Packers.
It did show that Justin Fields has the skills and ability to be an NFL quarterback. The question becomes, do we have the skills and ability to protect him as an NFL quarterback?
Yeah, and that's probably going to be a question that's going to be asked weekly.
Yep.
Do we have those skills?
Yep.
Because it's going to come down to, is he at least doing better from week to week?
Yeah. So, with that being said, we have the Houston Texans coming up north to Chicago to play in the Windy City. Rich, it looks like this might be slightly wet of a game.
Mm-hmm.
There is possibility of rain. Does that change your pick at all? And then what is your pick?
Even if it was perfect weather and Soldier Field was in immaculate condition, which we know it rarely is, I was going to give this a win for the Bears regardless. The Texans are in a worse position than we are as a team.
Yeah.
So I saw this as almost the Bears' first win of the season, not their second.
Yeah, and I
totally agree.
I totally agree. With that, it is an odd week. Mm-hmm. You get first pick on odd weeks. Rich, what is your lock of the week?
Well, Mike, I'm hoping to get back on track, keep a winning streak going. So for my lock of the week, I'm going to go with the Eagles over the Commanders. The Eagles have looked like a hot team, and while the Commanders are putting up a lot of points from week to week, they're doing it in garbage time because they're having to play from behind. So I think the Eagles are a better offensive team and can jump out that early lead and can probably keep their foot on the gas. and come out with more points at the end of the game.
I actually think that would have been my lock of the week if I would have gotten first pick this week. But you had first pick this week, so you get it by the way we do that. The Chargers over the Jaguars is my lock of the week. The Chargers are just that good of a team, and the Jaguars have been looking better.
They have.
But I don't think they're going to be good enough to make anything happen. Look for it to hold fast and make let's see the Chargers do well.
Okay, I like that pick as well. But I think the Jaguars are overall playing a lot better than a lot of people thought they would. To where, Mike, with the way the Colts and the Titans are playing, it wouldn't surprise me if the Jaguars somehow win this division.
I don't disagree. I just don't think they're going to win this game.
All right, Mike. My upset of the week, and the way we determine our upsets is we are in a pick-em with two other fans of the show on Yahoo, and it is considered an upset by the pick distribution on the Yahoo Pick'em.
Yep.
So using that criteria, I'm going to go with the Falcons over the Seahawks.
That is a 72 to 28 point pick distribution in favor of Seattle.
Yep. So I think the Falcons can do it. I mean, they're playing a lot better than I thought they would.
Yeah.
And
it is in Seattle, though.
Yeah.
And
it is.
The first game that they played in Seattle, that 12th man did show up.
I'm still going to go with it. For me, that's the one that kind of jumped out at me as a team that's not favored to win it. So that's why I picked them.
I 100% don't disagree at all with that pick. Because you picked that one, I am going to pick the Denver Broncos over the San Francisco 49ers. That's 60-49 in favor of the 49ers.
Okay.
Yeah.